What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today is the fourth holiday beer review for the month of December 2024, and it once again comes from the Boulevard Brewing Company, and they are out of Kansas City, Missouri, and this is their Nutcracker Ale, the 2024 release. So this is a winter warmer that comes in at 7.8% alcohol by volume, 45 IBUs at the time of review. This bottle is just under 3 months old, and it also has a please enjoy by date of April 11th of 2025. So according to Boulevard, we should be more than good to go, although I believe it's a 7-month enjoy by date, which is a kind of a weird amount of time. Usually it's like 6 months or 9 months or a year. So it's weird that they went with 7, but here we are. So now this beer is not specifically a beer that's on my beer bucket list, but it's a beer I've been wanting to try for quite a long time, and I finally got a chance to grab it. And they call it a winter warmer, but it's not a typical winter warmer. And what I mean by that, it's not an American winter warmer. When I think about American winter warmers, it's a big malty beer with a lot of baking spices, very akin to a pumpkin beer without pumpkin in it. However, the old school OG traditional English winter warmer lets the malts and hop shine. It's more of a malt-forward, malt-driven beer that is warming because of the ABV, as warming as it goes down, as opposed to like spices or anything. And this is kind of a traditional one. The little bit of a caveat being that I saw an article a couple years back. They do brew this one because on their website they don't specifically mention, but they do brew this one, I think, if it's the same for this year, with 2 different types of brown sugar, which is a golden and dark. And then they actually hop this one with, I believe it's Magnum, Chinook, and Cascade hops. And then they dry hop it with Chinook to give it that kind of spicy character that you would get from potentially if they were to use spices in this, like a lot of other breweries do. So I'm really curious to see how this one is. I'm just picturing like a big English strong ale. That's kind of what I'm thinking, but I guess we'll see. I'm going to crack this one open, get it into the glass, and go from there. So if you guys are relatively new to the channel, or if you just started following the channel, or you're relatively new a viewer of the channel, I consider Boulevard to be one of the best bigger craft breweries in America when it comes to their barrel age game. Over the past couple years, I've reviewed a handful of their barrel aged beers. Absolutely fantastic stuff coming out of Boulevard. And on top of that, the price point, the availability, and the quality through the roof. A lot of their 4-packs of their barrel-aged beers are like $14, $16, $18, and they just kill it. However, I got to be honest with you guys, full disclosure, their year-round and seasonal offerings are very hit or miss for me. Like their classic Tank 7 American Saison, I think is an American craft beer classic. However, one of the seasonals that doesn't resonate with me is their chocolate ale. So when it comes to their year-round seasonal rotating offerings, hit or miss. So I'm hoping this is more of a hit rather than a miss, but I guess we'll see. So let's give it a pour here and see what we got going on. Should I go a little bit aggressively here towards the end to generate a nice head, which I have succeeded in doing so. So using my my Christmas glass here that I got with, Homer as Cousin Eddie from Christmas Vacation, definitely is full, and then just have him on the other side talking about nothing, just showing you that he's definitely pretty drunk. So I'm not trying to swear in these holiday reviews, although the last one I let one slip, so that's on me. Anyway, that has a beautiful, like, deep copper color. Yeah, it might look like more amber on the camera, but it's definitely like a deep copper. 2 to 2.5 finger of this straight on, I'd say lightly tan colored head. Very creamy looking. There's a couple bigger bubbles for the most part, very tightly compact bubbles. Hold up to light. The clarity is really nice. It's probably not come off a camera, but there's good clarity. Lots of carbonation. I do think this has the etching that promotes the nucleation to kind of, make the carbonation rise. But yeah, that looks like a beautiful beer, especially in said glass. So let's get a nose. Ooh, nice. Yeah, it just it just reminds me of an old school like strong ale of some sort. I mean, it just has a lot of good malty character. It's the aforementioned brown sugar coming through. It's caramel, a little bit of toffee, toasted brown bread. And then there is a hop character that's slightly like spicy, but more of like spicy in like a piney type of way. Has like this piney, sprucey kind of herbaceousness, I would say. It has like an herbaceousness. It's very akin to the first holiday beer I reviewed this year, which was Masthead's Slay All Day IPA with spruce tips, kind of like that. It almost like a red IPA, but this is not that hop forward. It just has that kind of feel to it. Very nice. Touch of dark fruit in here too, like a plum or a fig. Maybe even a bit of like a maple. That malt character is very complex. It smells really good. It just smells like an old school imperialized, again, strong ale. I want to get into it. Cheers, everybody. Happy holidays. Now, I saw it on Untappd, and listen, I know a lot of you guys out there use Untappd. I use Untappd. I know some people don't like Untappd. Joe, over at Joe's Arcade. The app is biased towards certain styles, like mostly hazies, fruited sours, pastry stouts, hype beers, and so on and so forth. And I think this got like, I want to say this got like a 3.7, around a 3.7, give or take a couple of percentage points. And I get why it does. Because this is not, I think, a beer that a lot of the new age craft beer drinkers in the last 5 to 10 years would really drink and be like, ooh, this is an old school, just again, English strong ale, winter warmer. You could even say, I wouldn't say Scotch ale. It doesn't have like the smokiness I get from a Scotch ale. It has a little bit more hop character than that too. But this is just a beer that I think a lot of new age beer drinkers, but also people that are looking for a flavor explosion that's like beyond belief, that's not this beer. But what this beer is extremely well brewed and pretty well balanced and just a nice warming beer. On a cold winter's day, I'm drinking this and I think the temperature is like 27 degrees outside Fahrenheit. Yeah, this is going to warm me up tonight. Body's like higher side of medium, lower side of full, 7.8%. Impressive. It's not too thick and viscous to kind of, it's like you're chewing the beer, but it definitely has more of a body, and it's something like this where it's a winter warmer. Yeah, you want that. The mouthfeel, nice carbonation, approaching moderate carbonation, very crisp on the palate. At the same time, has a smoothness to it. It's very easy on the palate, like it's super smooth, but it also has a touch of like a creamy sensation as well. Look at the glass lacing too, absolutely fantastic. The taste, the nose follows suit, but I think it's a little bit more, has a little bit more malt character than the nose was indicating, and the hops are dialed back a little bit, but it's still there. So forefront, definitely toasted brown bread, 100%. Then there's just waves of caramelized and like confectionery sugar, but it's not like overblown, but there's caramel, there's toffee, there's molasses. There's a little bit of that, almost like a maple kind of character. I know there's no maple or anything here, but definitely has a little bit of that like sweeter kind of maple vibe. Underlying dark fruit, I'd say figgy, plum, sweet cherry. It gives me a very slight kind of like cakey thing going on, which is more into the realm of like a fruit cake, but not full on fruit cake. I like the first 2/3, 3/4 of the palate is just all that malty goodness. Then I'm finished. The hops hit. They're piney, they're floral, a little bit of grassy, but that spiciness they're talking about with the Chinook hops, with dry hopping, I get it. It has this herbaceous kind of sprucey, piney thing. And it does feel, again, a little bit spicy. It's almost akin to like when you drink a German or Czech style Pilsner that has that spiciness. It's just, that's kind of what's happening here. The spiciness is coming from the hops, not any spices. And I think it works well. And I think if you did throw some cinnamon or nutmeg or allspice or whatever in here, I think you'd kind of you'd kind of lose the essence of what this beer is supposed to be. 7.8%, nothing on the palate, nice, a subtle warming going down from the chest into the stomach. Not boozy, no ethanol on the palate, just really well done. Again, this isn't going to be a beer that blows anybody's minds at this point in time, this day and age. I mean, a lot of people are saying the craft beer bubble is bursting, whatever the hell that means. I've been hearing that for 5 to 10 years. And listen, don't get me wrong. A lot of breweries are closing. A lot are opening up. You see pretty much news stories every couple of days with, oh, this place is closing their tap room. It's just when you start, you have 10,000 breweries in the U.S., you're going to see that happening. The breweries that do well because their beers are good and they have a good business plan or whatever, they're going to go forward. And some others are going to be hit for whatever reasons. Maybe their beer isn't that good. Maybe their business plan's not that great. Maybe they have other issues with their brewery. But there's still good beer to be had. And I think if you're an OG beer lover and somebody who's been drinking beer for a certain amount of time, this is a beer that'll resonate for you. And I'm not saying if you're a brand new craft beer drinker and somebody who started drinking beer in the last couple of years, you can't appreciate this, because you totally could. Everybody can appreciate any beer out there if they really, if their palate says, hey, this tastes good. But the reason why I think this gets a lower rating on Untappd, and I'm sure it even on like Beer Advocate and stuff, is that this isn't a fancy, showy beer. This is an OG English winter warmer that kind of stylistically hits the nail on the head. It has that great malt character that is very rich, not too rich. This is not cloying. This is not too decadent, but it has that richness from the malt. Provides a nice sweetness, a lot of complexity, and then you get that kiss of kind of hop character on the finish that brings out the spices. You blend everything together. This is a very cohesive beer. Is it my favorite winter warmer of all time? No. Will it ever be? Probably not. But I can appreciate this beer, and I do think this beer is really well done for what it is. Stylistically, for an OG traditional English winter warmer, this is like a high 4.25 into a low 4.5. It's really well done. It's exactly what you want out of it. It's, again, well balanced, maybe even leans a little bit more malty like it should be. The warming sensation comes in the form of a warming in the chest and the stomach. There's no booziness on the palate. You could drink a couple of these by the fireside, by a nice open fire. You could do it, just watching the game, whatever the case may be, and you'll be feeling good. And this would kind of warm you up when it's, again, 27 degrees outside Fahrenheit, which is quite cold with some snow on the ground. So I think this is extremely well done. The bitterness on the finish is more of like a mild to moderate bitterness. It's a nice semi-dry finish. The bitterness isn't too overwhelming, so if you're somebody who doesn't like bitter beers, I don't think this would be too much for you. But I could see somebody who maybe doesn't like bitterness at all, like me, circa 2010 to like 2012. I probably wouldn't have appreciated this back 10 to 12 years ago. I just wouldn't have. If you would have gave me this in 2011 or 12, I'd probably tell you, like, this is too bitter for me. It's too hoppy, a little bit too much going on, but right now, I totally appreciate this one. So Nutcracker Ale, the 2024 release from Boulevard, high 4 out of 5, I'm going to go 4.1. I think this is extremely well done. Winter warmer, like I said, stylistically, high 4. I say 4.35, 4.4, somewhere in that realm. I think it's just extremely well done. But a 4.1 out of 5 is a very, very good score, especially for something like this. And I think this fits the season perfectly. It's not all, crazy spices that they had to throw in here and like 75 different adjuncts. It's just they let the beer kind of speak for itself outside of that brown sugar. But, it's not, I don't think throwing the brown sugar in here and brewing with it any different than like, Belgian beers using Belgian candy sugar. It's like, going to up the ABV a bit, give you a little bit more of that sweetness. And yeah, so 4.1 out of 5. Price point availability, I think this is, in my area, like $11.99 a 6-pack, $2 a bottle for an almost 8% winter warmer. Yeah, that's a great deal. Once again, I don't know if I swore in this. I was about to swear, and I caught myself. I don't know if I swore in this review. I hope not. I'm going to probably mention that in every single holiday beer review, so I do apologize where people are like, you just talks about not swearing. It's tough. I swear in pretty much every review. So trying to tone it down for these holiday beer reviews, I don't know if I did a good job until I look back when I'm editing it. I hope I did a good job. If not, it happens. But yeah, so that's a great price point. Availability, it's Boulevard. This is their winter seasonal as far as just like winter seasonal goes. So if you get Boulevard, pretty good chance you can see this one, although not guaranteed. So if you do get Boulevard in your area, go to your favorite beer store or bottle shop and see if they have it available. And like I said, it's just extremely well done. And this is not a beer I'm going to scream from the rooftops for or anything, but again, a traditional old school English winter warmer. Yeah, they did a good job. So if you've had this one before, post in the comment section and let me know whether it's a prior vintage or this year's release. I think this is really nice. Look at that glass lacing too. That glass lacing is phenomenal. We'll do one more sip just to lock in the rating. Yeah, a little bit more of that fruitcake character. It almost has, you get a little bit of cherry, a little bit of a lighter fruit, like an apricot or something like that. almost slightly fruitcakey, but then again, it has that nice mild to moderate bitterness and semi-dry finish. Very, very well balanced and just an easy drinker. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to shut this beer review down. That does it for the 4th holiday beer review for this month. Check back in whatever it is. I think this is going to be posted on a Friday, so Tuesday, I forget what I'm reviewing next, but it's going to be another holiday-themed beer review. You're going to see me in this ridiculous getup. You're going to see the Grinch who is, you know, he's lit up, and then I turn on the camera, and then all of a sudden he goes off. I think it's like 4 or 5 minutes, and then he turns off. And whatever, that's fine. But I couldn't figure out if there's a way to make him stay lit. But yeah, I'm really pumped up for this one. Shout out to a viewer of the channel, Jeff, Potter's Journal. He said you should. No, it wasn't Jeff who said that. Sorry, but shout out to Jeff anyway. Potter's Journal. He's a fantastic guy. Always comments on my videos. I'm subbed to his channel. I watch his stuff occasionally, although it's not like right in my wheelhouse. I still try to support other YouTube creators that, you know, because that's what it is when we have these small niche channels. That's what you do. Shout out to Green Sombrero, who resides in East Aurora, New York. He said it'd be cool if you could do like a, you know, you could like dim the lights. I really don't have that set up. I have 4 lights above me and then 2 big soft boxes. Maybe next year I'll look at getting some dimming lights so I could turn them down a bit. And then you would see the Grinch and my shirt, or my ugly sweater a little better. But it is what it is. Like I said, next year we're going to try to be a little more festive, maybe get some lights behind me. We'll see. We'll figure it out. Appreciate everybody stopping by to another beer review, to another beer review, whatever the case may be, to the next one. Cheers. Did I say 7.8%? Yeah, I did. I always, at the end, you know, I have the formula. 7.8%, like I said, warming chest, stomach, no ethanol or anything in the palate. Extremely well done. Anyway, cheers.